What's up and welcome to the channel. My name is Lou and today we're going to be reviewing Hajime no Ippo chapters 572 to 591. Needless to say, there will be spoilers for both the anime and the manga, so if you don't want any of those or hear any of that, please click out now. Like I stated in my previous video, I'll try to have a link in the description box below to the website I use to read the manga. The anime, if you have a Crunchyroll account, you can watch it. I mean, they have a bunch of clips online where you can watch some of the more interesting fights, but you can find any way you want. I'm not going to judge which way you choose, but that's on you. With that out of the way, let's stop kicking the tires and jump right into this because there's so much to cover. So we actually pick up right where we left off. Itagaki had just completely dominated his last opponent, Makino, and we're moving right ahead. Ippo is super excited, super jazzed up because he just witnessed his Kohei, his junior, put on a master class of outboxing. It just completely dominated an opponent. And that's one of the great things about this series. Anybody who's taken martial arts or box or anything like that and been in the competitive circuit, if you see somebody put on such a fantastic performance, it gets you hyped. It makes you want to like jump in next. Like it does something to you. It's a weird adrenaline rush. So Ippo's pretty jazzed up, but if you take your minds back, he hasn't had a fight since his 5th title defense, which was Sawamura Ryuhei. And that was a pretty tough fight. He actually pushed himself past his limitations and suffered a lot of injuries. And he's actually been out of the game. I'm not sure. They don't really give you a passage of time. I would say it hasn't been at least 6 months because he hasn't had any challenges either. Because after that Ryuhei fight, he's been seen as a dominant champion, so no one wants to step up to him. When we cut to the gym, Ippo actually gets into the gym and he goes directly to the coach. Oh, sorry, he doesn't actually go directly to the coach. We gotta go back. Aoki and Kimura, they had made a bet with Takumura about, you know, if they lose to their opponents, they'd have to copy their opponent's hairstyles. So the only one who really suffered the drawbacks or suffered the loss was Aoki. But because of his loss, he actually gained a lot of popularity because of a commercial, Brocco Man. Of course, Takumura, he has 2 belts. He's a champ in 2 different weight classes. But that means nothing because everybody's pretty much just all about Aoki, which I love. Aoki is just hilarious, and I'm just so happy to see him get some kind of recognition. He's just a great character. And Ippo actually talks to the coach. The coach presents Ippo with a recent challenge he's received. Sorry, I'm going to butcher his name. I'm going to try it. It's Takuzo Karasawa. I hope that's right. I'm going to have it up here in the video for you, so don't worry about it. If you want to be brave and pronounce it, I'm going to try to be brave and pronounce it. You can do it with me. Having not had a fight in a while and still, you know, kind of getting over his previous injuries, he just takes the fight. He just dives right in. Now, the coach does offer him an out. He's like, you don't really need to take it. This guy doesn't really matter. He doesn't do anything to your rank. It's just a title shot, give you an opportunity to go in the ring again. So, for some reason or another, he actually has something he wants to like find out. He wants to try something out. Those are his words. Karasawa is very excited because he is gonna prove, like, he's gonna take that belt. He believes he's gonna take that belt from Ippo because he already has countermeasures for the Dempsey roll, Ippo's finisher, his big gun, if you would. He's an outboxer. He's pretty fast on his feet, so he's one of those, you know, extremely talented, really good maneuverability kind of fighters. We actually find out later on that Karasawa is in fact the Kohei or the junior of another one of Ippo's former rivals, that being Sanada. I don't know his last name. I'll put his information up there too. He's actually, I believe he's the first title defense Ippo had, if not the second. In the OVA, he's one of Ippo's like biggest opponents. Sanada, you know, he's going there to kind of like warn him. He's like, hey man, don't underestimate Ippo. Ippo's not exactly somebody you should take lightly. And Karasawa, he's not cocky. I think he's feeling, I guess, confident. He just has a lot of confidence because he thinks he has the answer to defeat Ippo. Sanada asked him his chances, like what are the odds for him winning this fight? And it's actually 7-3. And he thinks, oh, is it 7? He's like, no, I'm actually 3. So on for a rarity, at least as far as I've seen in the series and I've experienced, Ippo is actually the favorite to win. I don't know if this has happened before. If it is, and if you can please just comment down below if this has happened before, where Ippo is actually the favorite in a fight. But it's surprising to me. It's already set in stone that everybody thinks that this is going to be a sweep for Ippo. But Ippo, being the guy that he is, he decides, no, I'm not going to take this lightly. And Ippo dives straight into training, and he dives in hard. And this is something I really missed about the series. I grew up with Rocky. I grew up with like Bruce Lee movies. I grew up with all that. So I love training sequences. I know a lot of animes and I know a lot of mangas, they completely skip over them. But that's my bread and butter. I love seeing the characters progress on screen. I love to see them work. That's why I love Demon Slayer. Like Demon Slayer, they have some of the best training sequences. Even if there's quick cuts, just something. I need to see their progression. So we actually see Ippo out in the park, and he's driving these wooden stakes into the mountainside, not mountainside, the hillside, which is something I never even thought of. But he's hammering these huge wooden stakes. They're like huge. He got it from construction yards. I forget he has prize money. He gets money for his wins. I guess this stuff doesn't even like occur to me because I'm always thinking they're fighting for just belts and like the fame of like winning. But I forget they actually get paid for this. Hammering these stakes into the hill. Itagaki's kind of confused, like, what are you doing? And he's like, yo, I need to strengthen up my rotation and like turning of my hips. And Itagaki in his head, he's like, oh, he needs to strengthen his rotation for the Dempsey roll. Mind you, like, Ippo has to get back to basics. He has to go back to like the start because that last fight tore him to shreds. We get a call from Takamura. Takamura, being in his feelings, decides he's just gonna leave. He's gonna take a journey of self-discovery or whatever. He's a champ, but he decides, yeah, I'm just gonna leave. I need a break from the madness of Brocco Man, because he's butthurt about Aoki being more famous and him being more popular than him. So he decides to go on a journey of Japan. So he's going to be out for the next couple chapters. Everybody has different reactions. Everybody's kind of just like rolling their eyes like, okay, Takamura's just being an idiot again. Coach is really pushing Ippo too. It's a weird dynamic. It's like an abusive relationship between Coach Kamogawa and Ippo, because it almost seems like nothing Ippo does is good enough. Karasawa is also training. He's not only focus on Ippo's Dempsey role, he's actually going to strengthen his core, strengthen his stomach, because he's heard about Ippo's devastating body shots. Because I think in most of Ippo's fights, he's actually floored a lot of people with that body blow. If he hasn't broken a rib, he's caused serious internal damage. Like, this dude hits like super hard. He's strengthened. He had his coach actually stepping on his stomach. It's like some wild old school like Van Damme movie type shit, you know, where his coach is like jumping on his stomach trying to get him to tighten up. It's a very cool contrast to see their training going head to head with one another. And it's, you know, he's training his body as well as, you know, he's already an outboxer. He has a speed advantage, and, you know, he's focused on his maneuverability as well as his just iron stomach. Ippo's focusing more on his rotation and back to basics. And Ippo just continues training, but he's starting to feel a little off. It's been a couple weeks since like he started training. He's still keeping up. He's still working hard, but he's just not feeling like Ippo. So they have the weigh-ins, and Ippo is still feeling kind of other. He's not feeling like himself still. And Sanada actually notices it. He's like, Ippo seems tough and like his back is huge, but for some reason Ippo doesn't seem like himself. He relays this to Karasawa, and Karasawa, so he's not going to be his best. He hears that it's like Ippo's not going to be his best. And basically, he's taking that to heart. You find out what he was lacking is Takamura in his corner. I don't know why he's so obsessed with Takamura, Miyata, and Kamogawa. They all kind of abuse him, honestly. But he needed Takamura to come back to give him his confidence back, give him his drive back. The day of the fight comes, Ippo versus Karasawa, his 6th title defense. Everybody's like, oh, it's going to be a shutdown. Ippo's got it. Ippo's going to murder this guy. Something clicked. Sanada looked over and said, remember what I said before about Ippo not being all the way in there, not being amped up, not being 100% in this fight? That's changed. He's completely changed. He's amped up. He basically relays that Ippo is now fully into this fight. The match begins, and classic outboxer, he's waiting for Ippo to get close so he can just use that jab, just utilizing his hand speed and his footwork to basically get around. Ippo's not letting him. Ippo's creeping towards him, and this guy's like, what is Ippo doing? Like, this is weird. He's like, waiting for him to get close, gets within range, and before he gets his shot off with that jab, Ippo just blitzes him, and then throws this jab that hits with the force of a goddamn nuke. Now, granted, Karasawa does dodge, but it's still significant. He's like, whoa, I was not expecting that. The tried and true plan was to just outbox Ippo, beat him in points, and just take him to the later rounds. So he's just peppering Ippo with these jabs, working around. Ippo slowly moving, just keeping his guard tight, guarding, and just walking through. Pretty bad for Ippo at first, and then we see that Ippo's not even bothered. He just keeps moving forward, cutting the ring off. And he eventually corners Karasawa and hits him with the nastiest body shot I have seen in the series. And I love the artwork here because the way George like draws it, he literally blew a part of his body away with that shot, and yo, he's feeling it. Like he's not having a good day with this body shot. So he decides to clinch up with Ippo's, not taking any more shots. Well, Ippo's like, no, none of that, and he throws this uppercut that just, this sexy uppercut, and he dodges, but it sets him up for this perfect jab. It pins him against the ropes, and he's not ready for Ippo like this. Anyway, he eventually gets desperate. He hugs Ippo and takes to the mat. End of round. Round one, clearly Ippo dominated. Ippo was just so like surgical. Back into that ring for round two. Ippo was just like, yeah, I got a plan. I still have to work on it, but it's not ready just yet. Puts his mouthpiece back in, gets back out there. Round two starts, and Karasawa is just throwing mad jabs. Like I'm talking tons of jabs. He threw like 600 jabs, throwing jabs and circling the entire time. Ippo is just sitting there walking towards him. Our crew is commentating on top. They're like, Ippo's just moving so slow. Why is he not dashing in? It's like, this isn't like Ippo. Ippo's the type of guy who only dashes forward, and to hell with the consequences. Eventually, Takumoto's like, yeah, Ippo's not the same fighter. He's fought a lot of high-level outboxers before. He's evolved. Ippo corners him one more time and bodies him again. Like Ippo hits him with another shot that just completely takes him off guard. He was like not ready at all. And his confidence, if it was shattered before, it's not existent anymore. Ippo just keeps peppering him in there, and he's like frustrated. He guards up. He's like, why is he's not throwing his big shot? He's waiting for him to throw his big shot so he can escape the corner. But Ippo's tight, keeping those real compact punches, not allowing him to counter, not allowing him to clinch, just keeping him in his guard. Ippo takes this opportunity to throw a lot of compact punches. This guy's thinking that Ippo's going to work on his Dempsey roll, so he steps back, thinking, okay, I got him this time. He's coming with Dempsey roll, left to right, left to right. Well, Ippo comes up and cracks him in the body with this, like it's a Shoryuken. He hits him so hard, he literally folds him up. Karasawa he's going to use the tried and true method of escaping with that left lead hook to change angles, to put Ippo in the corner so he can actually change the tide of the match. Ippo ducks underneath and catches him with, it looked like an overhand left, but it was just a left hook. And that's it. I'm sorry. That's it. That's the end of the match. This man, he tried to hold on, but he tumbled and fell twice. It looked like an absolute bodying. Ippo didn't have a mark on his body at all. Like, Ippo came out clean. Like, I'm talking fresh out the shower, just shaved, looking best he can. It was amazing. This is the best fight Ippo's ever had. I am in complete shock that he performed this well. Everybody's like in total awe. Ippo just beat somebody handedly. The coach is so stingy about congratulating his fighters, but he actually does congratulate Ippo for a job well done. He didn't use the Dempsey roll once. He completely bodied this guy with just basic technique and his insight on fighting outboxers, like either his teammates or either other outboxers. And he's completely evolved as a boxer. I'm sorry, that was the best fight Ippo has ever displayed. I love the Sawamura fight. It's still probably my favorite fight that I've seen in the series. This is the best performance Ippo has ever given. And I just can't, I'm sorry. I'm warm right now. That was a really good fight. It's a good fight. Thank you so very much for clicking on this video. I greatly appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind giving a like as well as subscribe. Yeah, and hopefully see you in the next video. If you like, you can check out my previous video. It'll be somewhere in the box now. And like I said, hope to see you soon.